Welcome to this presentation on essential oils, an introduction for complete beginners, celebrating Complementary Therapy Week with complementary health professionals. So what are essential oils exactly? They're described as being highly concentrated, volatile aromatic extracts. And what does this mean? So they're highly concentrated because they are distilled by man, and volatile because they are so light molecularly that they will just float away in the air, and aromatic because they smell, extracts because they come from plants. So the aromatic plant materials include things like grass. So here is a lovely image of steam distillation, and this is where the aromatic material, in this case lavender oil, is placed in a still, and hot steam is passed through it. So as the essential oil in the plants are highly volatile, as we've already said, they're carried up in the steam vapour. And the vapour containing the oil now passes through a condenser containing ice cold water, and this makes the steam convert back into water, and the water will have the essential oil in it. The water containing the essential oils in it then passes from the condenser and collects in a container underneath. And as essential oils sit on water, just like any other oil, and do not mix in it, they can be siphoned off the top, and the remaining water is sold as a hydrocell. So as you're seeing in this image here of lavender oil being steam distilled, the water is passing through at the top, and then we have, as the water coming out of the condenser, passing into this container, and here is the lavender essential oil sitting on top of the water underneath, and this water here will be sold as a hydrosol or lavender water. Cold expression is often called, or scarification, is used for citrus oils, and in this image you can see that's being used for orange oil. So the whole fruit is placed in a device where the peel is ruptured to release the oil sacs found just under the rind. In fact, if you grate the peel of an orange or a lemon, the essential oils are being released. You can smell that on your fingers. So the whole fruit is pressed so that both oil and juice is collected together, and then they put it into a centrifusion where the oil is spun and therefore separated from the juice and then collected and sold. Solvent extraction is another method, and this is used to create what is called an absolute, and used for delicate plants that are unable to cope with steam distillation. So if you think of jasmine oil, a jasmine flower is so tiny and so delicate, it will just fall apart in the steam distillation process. So it's used to have extracted through solvent extraction, and is sold as jasmine absolute. So food grade solvents such as ethanol or hexane are used to separate the essential oil from the plants, and then after being treated with the solvent, a waxy compound forms, and that's called a concrete, and then this is mixed with alcohol to release the oil particles. And obviously some traces of the solvents will remain in the absolute, but that's fine because it's food grade. Let's look at the physical properties of essential oils. So they are non-greasy, and this is how you can tell it's an essential oil as opposed to a vegetable or a carrier oil, as is used in aromatherapy, because they are greasy. Now, so essential oils aren't really an oil in that respect, but they do float on water, as we saw in the steam distillation slide earlier. So they're not greasy, but they are an oil. So they are volatile. Vegetable oils that we use as carrier oils and base oils are not volatile. They are highly flammable, so have to be kept away from a naked flame. So the way that we use them in therapy is to put them in vegetable oil, so any kind of fat or alcohol. We can't use water because the molecular structure is smaller. So as we said, the oils sit on water, they don't mix with it. So we use some kind of fat, so we might use a vegetable oil, say an alcohol, we could use a cream, but it's always got some fat content in it, and that the essential oils can mix in that. They are soluble in vegetable oil, as we said. So they're made up of chemical compounds. So each of these essential oils will have a GC result, a GC analysis, which is a printout showing all the chemical constituents of each essential oil, and that's how we know its quality and its therapeutic properties. So we've said each of these essential oils is made up of organic, natural, chemical compounds, and these are extracted via these various distillation methods that we've just mentioned, and these chemicals are found in the plant's specialized secretory structures called trichomes. So this image here is showing the trichomes in a leaf. I'm always saying to people that natural does not equal safe. And that's because, particularly within essential oils, some of these chemicals that are naturally occurring in the plant could be hazardous to health in different circumstances. And this is why aromatherapy and essential oil training should be very involved and very in-depth, so that we can practice safely. Essential oil properties include things like, so they could be, the chemicals have antiseptic properties, or they're bactericidal, they're antiviral, antifungal. Some are analgesic, digestive, diuretic, antidepressant, hypertensive, and anti-inflammatory. These are just a few. There's many, many more to learn. Essential oils are also sedative, calming, and uplifting to the mind, because they have a direct effect on the brain. As you inhale them, they go up into the nose, into the olfactory system, and are perceived by the brain and have a direct effect on chemicals in the brain. So how do they work exactly on the body for therapeutic purposes? So as we've said, these oil molecules are highly volatile and they float away easily in the air when released. This is why it's always very important to keep the top on your essential oil bottle done up nice and tight, because you don't want any loss of your oil, or you don't want it to oxidize either, because that loses its therapeutic properties. So they can be inhaled where they reach the olfactory part of the brain, as we've said. And this has an effect on neurotransmitters in the brain, and this is why essential oils can make us feel euphoric and uplifted or relaxed. Essential oils, when applied to the skin, are able to penetrate the skin's layers and enter the bloodstream, much like topical medications. And these essential oil molecules will remain in your bloodstream from about 1 to 24 hours or so, depending on the oils that have been used. Some are in and out of the body much quicker. It also depends on the individual. So it's considered that essential oil should only ever be used topically, and certainly in the UK that's how it's taught, for topical application only. It is potentially dangerous to consume these chemicals internally. They contain no nutritional value. They can damage you if used continually internally. And if you would like to read more information on this, I've actually written an article for the CHP, and it's on their website, and it explains in more details why essential oils shouldn't be used internally. So when you are using essential oils, you will have noticed that they will have this droplet restrictor on the top. So why are these important? Why do we need to have these on there? And really it's twofold. One of them is that we want to use the droplet restrictors to help us to count our drops when we're creating dilutions, and it does give a consistency, certain consistency, although you'll see that some droplet restrictor holes are bigger than others. The thicker oils in particular have wider ones in order to get the oil out. And the other thing is that if you knock a bottle over, you're not going to spill your essential oils all over the place, and it also stops people, and particularly children or pets, from being able to get at them and swallow them, which is potentially very, very hazardous indeed. The dilution ratio for general use is 1 to 2%. So what this means is that we will always dilute the essential oils into a base oil. As we said earlier, something with fat in it. Could be a vegetable oil, might be a cream, could be a lotion. We can also buy things like bath dispersing oil. The aromatherapy companies have all sorts of base products that you can mix essential oils in. So 1 to 2% is the general use, and certainly for home use, this would be really good. So 1% is 1 drop of essential oil in every teaspoon or 5 ml of carrier oil, and 2% is 2 drops of essential oil in 5 ml of carrier. So that's always easy to use the 5 times table to work out your drops, number of drops for the amount of base product that you have that you can measure out. So what are the carrier oils then? So we've said essential oils, although non-greasy, will sit on top of water as oil does, but it cannot disperse in water. So we have to disperse it in fat to use it on the skin and in blends. We would use it neat for inhaling, but when we're applying it to the skin, we need to disperse it first. So an aromatherapist for massage, we would use carrier oil, such as a sweet almond oil or sunflower oil, for example, and add 1 drop of essential oil to every 5 ml of carrier oil if we're using a 1% dilution, or 2% would be 2 drops of essential oil to every 5 ml of carrier oil. An aromatherapist might use a higher dilution of that, but then they know what they're doing. Vegetable oils are not the only carrier media for essential oils. As I said, there's all sorts of different options that you can look at on the aromatherapy company's websites. And we can use something called a sniff stick, where we can add essential oils into that and carry it around, or which we'll discuss a bit more in a moment, or you might put essential oils into a diffuser, or in fact you could just pop it on a tissue and sniff it. When we are using essential oils for the first time, or a blend of essential oils for the first time, patch testing is very important. So the skin and body reactions to essential oils may vary between individuals, so we always check for sensitivities or potential allergic reactions even that may occur. Patch testing involves placing a small amount of the diluted oil, remember we don't use essential oils undiluted on the skin, or on the inside of your elbow. Just wait for a minute or two to ensure there's no reaction. And if there is a reaction, don't wash it. Put more of the vegetable oil on to dilute it even further. And then obviously if there was any serious problems, you would need medical attention. Safety and storage of your essential oils is very, very important. We've already established that they're highly volatile and evaporate very quickly. So we have to keep them away from strong sunlight. We store them in dark glass bottles. As you can see, there's amber bottles here and blue bottles. And always screw your lid on very tightly. They also like to be kept at a constant temperature. And if we don't do that, they evaporate and they oxidize. And this causes problems. If they've oxidized, they will have lost their therapeutic properties, and they may actually irritate the skin as well and cause sensitization and irritation. Citrus oils will last longer if you store them in the fridge, and their shelf life is a lot less than other essential oils, and they do oxidize and very, very quickly, and certainly do cause problems if they have gone off. Quite often essential oils will have a use by date on them as well. So more on safety is that we always dilute essential oils prior to use in the correct dilution ratio. So if I'm using the essential oils on the face, if I was making a face cream, for example, I would definitely only use 1% because the skin on the face is very, very sensitive. But I might use 2% on other parts of the body. Certainly we never take them internally. The chemicals can damage the mucous membranes in your mouth and upset your digestive system. And if used continually, there's been lots and lots of reports now of serious problems and skin issues. So it's really important that you don't take them internally, no matter what you may have read. Spills should always be cleaned up immediately. Always patch test before you use them. Check the safety data of each oil before you use them. And dispose of essential oils correctly. You don't just put your empty essential oil bottles in the bin. Your local council may have, if you contact them, may have special procedures, I suppose is the word we use, of how to dispose of chemicals, because that's what they are. You don't just want to put them down the sink or in the bin. So methods of use. There are many ways that essential oils can be used in dilution, either in dilution for topical application or neat when you're inhaling them. So we'll look at some of those in the next few slides. An aromatherapist will have been trained to use essential oils to create bespoke products for clients to treat specific medical conditions, but also to apply essential oils in a massage. And the type of massage used is usually quite light to create deep relaxation, but they may also use lymphatic drainage techniques, meridian clearing work, and acupressure. Some aromatherapists also will offer deep tissue massage with essential oils if they're treating specific conditions. Your therapist will actually advise you, once they've taken the consultation, of how they will create your treatment plan. If you want to train in essential oil therapy without the massage training, since lots of people don't want to do when you're training in aromatherapy, you have to also do massage training. But there's a lot of people who either don't want to learn to massage or can't massage for lots of different reasons. So we have created a diploma course, and this has everything that an aromatherapist learns in the Aromatherapy Diploma, but we stripped all the massage contents out. So we call it an Essential Oil Practitioner's Diploma. If you are interested in making products, we have also put on our website an article which you are welcome to take a look at, with lots of ideas about making bespoke Christmas gifts using essential oils. Well, of course, you can use these gifts for any time of the year. So one of the methods of use of essential oils is in a diffuser, and these are great for uplifting the mood and de-stressing them. So we would add about 7 drops or so of essential oil to your diffuser. Depends on the size of the room. If it's a very large room, you might want to put a bit more in. And if you're using thicker oils that are more concentrated, like the absolutes, you might want to use less because they're even more concentrated. And floral oils can sometimes be a bit overwhelming if you use too many drops. And you can buy your essential oil, you can buy your diffuser as well as your essential oils from all the essential oil companies. If you're using a room diffuser, you do need to consider the needs and safety of everyone in the room, because not every oil will suit everyone or even be liked by everyone. Essential oils smells evoke strong memories. You probably you can identify that for yourself. There might be a particular smell that transports you back in time to a specific memory. And sometimes these are good memories and sometimes they're not. So you do have to be very careful and check out both safety considerations and whether the aroma is liked by everyone in the room. This is called environmental fragrancing. You might, if it's used in the workplace, for example. So that is not always a good idea to do that. It's fine at home if it's just you and your family, but even then you do need to be careful with some essential oils around children and also pets. A rollerball is a great idea for making little blends up for yourself. You can buy these bottles, these rollerball bottles, from essential oil companies, and they usually come in these 10ml dark glass bottles as shown in the image. So all our blends are always in dark glass because of the essential oils will they don't react well to light. So amber glass is said to be the best to prevent the degradation of your therapeutic products. So for general use, you can use 2%, say 2 drops in 5 ml of base oil. So for example, if you put 10 ml of sunflower oil, which is a great oil that's an all-rounder, and 4 drops of essential oil, such as lavender, for example. So we're suggesting a blend here with lavender and sweet orange, 2 drops of each, and that'll be a nice de-stress that you can carry around with you, roll it on your neck or on your pulse points, wherever you are comfortable using it. Sniff Sticks can also be purchased from the essential oil companies. You can actually buy ones created by the essential oil companies, ready-made, or you can buy these blank ones ready for you to create your own blends. Aromatherapists use these quite a lot for their clients because they're very easy to carry around and use during the day, popped in a pocket or in a handbag and used whenever needed. So when using, we just ask clients to wave it in front of their noses. Do not insert the tube. You don't want neat essential oils on the inside of your nose. It will sting and be really uncomfortable. and potentially damage mucous membranes. And that's the same if you're putting essential oils onto a tissue to sniff. Don't put the essential oil on the tissue directly onto your skin. So these are excellent to use if you get stressed out at work or suffer from panic attacks. And here's a great blend for panic attacks. 1 drop of neroli essential oil, which is orange blossom, and 2 drops of lavender. Now, neroli is much more concentrated, and therefore you don't need so many drops of it. It's very, very strong. Relaxing bath. Isn't that great to have a bath in essential oils, aromatic bath? So when using essential oils in a bath, remember that they float on the water. Do not disperse in water. So if you were to run your bath and then just pop the essential oils, they're going to float on the water, and then you get in and your delicate areas will sit on neat essential oil, and that won't be pleasant at all. So we need some way of dispersing the oils into fat before we put them in the water. So we could use a vegetable oil, but this leaves the bath slippery. So I prefer to use a bath dispersing oil or a bubble bath, and you can obtain these from the essential oil companies that you can add essential oils to. So for example, if you want 10 ml of a base product at 2% dilution, you'd put 4 drops of essential oil in. Here's a great blend for de-stress. 2 drops of sweet orange oil with 2 drops of geranium oil. That is absolutely wonderful de-stress. So when we're having this aromatic bath, we do not want to wash, because we will be washing the oils off as they're trying to get into our bloodstream, but also the chemicals in the soap products that you're using to wash yourself could interact with the essential oils and cause some kind of irritation, but also prevent them, as we've said, from absorption. So what we recommend is that you would relax in this bath for at least 20 minutes, topping up the water if you need to, and that will get you the most benefit from this therapeutic bath. So where would you buy essential oils? Supplies of essential oils, base products, jars, bottles, all of these things that you need can be purchased from various companies in the UK. And you want to buy them from a company that is registered with the Aromatherapy Trade Council. So the ATC is the body in the UK. So it's like a self-regulator really for essential oil trade that will, and everyone who is a member of the ATC, every company will have signed up to quality and purity, and you know that you're getting good quality oils and good quality products. So the website for the Aromatherapy Trade Council is www.a-t-c.org.uk, and if you click on the membership list, you will get a whole list of essential oil companies with links to their websites, and you know you're buying quality essential oils. So what are the best oils for complete beginners? So there are hundreds of essential oils. In order to use them safely, we recommend that you do a course, and we'll explain the courses we offer later in this presentation. However, to start with, there are a few relatively safe oils you can use at home to support you and your family's well-being. So the oils that we recommend are, starting with a lavender, sweet orange, bergamot, Roman chamomile. I've also added geranium in. So let's look at these essential oils. So it's often a favourite oil, lavender, isn't it? Everyone will have heard of it, and everyone will know what it smells like. And it's probably one that you either love or you hate. But it is a great analgesic, so we will put it in blends for pain relief, and it's also good to help with bruises. It's generally emotionally, mentally balancing. So a lot of books or websites talk about lavender being good for sleep, but it's not a sedative oil. It is actually a balancing oil. It's a better way of explaining it. So if you're feeling a bit down, it brings you up. If you're a bit high, it'll bring you back down to earth. So it's wonderfully balancing in that respect. And as I've said, it's not a good oil for aiding sleep on its own because it's not a sedative. But if you blend it with, say, Roman chamomile, that's perfect. Together, because chamomile is very sedative, beautiful blend together that can help you have a good night's sleep. So you could either put 2 drops of each in a bath, or 3 drops each even in a bath, and or add a couple of drops each on a tissue and place that under your pillowcase. So the aroma is wafting up your nose while you sleep, keep you asleep overnight. So lavender oil is generally quite a safe oil, which is why it's a good one to start with. It's well known for its ability to help heal burns, and it is one of the very few oils that you can add neat. Now, you wouldn't go pouring it all over yourself, but if you just want to put one drop on a spot or a small burn, that's okay. Roman chamomile. So this is a daisy, as you can see from the image. And if you've ever enjoyed a cup of chamomile tea, you're already familiar with the aroma and sense of calm that chamomile offers. The essential oil is even more powerful with great sedative effects. As we've said, blended with lavender, it's great for insomnia. Try it for yourself. It's also very calming, so it calms any form of agitation. It's got an anti-inflammatory property, so it's great for the skin. You can put it in blends for eczema, dermatitis. It's also good for muscle aches and pains and, of course, arthritis. And as with the lavender that we looked at in the previous slide, Roman chamomile will also blend with all the other oils listed. You'll also notice, of course, that underneath all of the essential oils, we put the botanical name, and you might wonder why. And this is to make sure that you are getting the correct oil. Always check the Latin name. For example, going back to lavender, Lavandula angustifolia is the essential oil that we tend to use the most. There are over 40 varieties of lavender, so we need to make sure that we're getting the correct lavender with the correct therapeutic properties. And that's why we always check the botanical names, and all the reputable essential oil companies will put the botanical name on there, on the bottle, on the label. So this is bergamot, Citrus bergamia, and it's known as the happy oil. That sounds good, doesn't it? We all need a bit of happiness. So whenever you're feeling a bit low, diffuse this essential oil and you will soon notice the change. In fact, everyone in the room, if you're diffusing the room, if everyone's there's been a bit of an argument, put this essential oil in a diffuser and it will lift everybody's mood and everyone will be much happier. It also has amazing antidepressant properties, and at the same time is also relaxing. So it sort of lifts the mood while allowing you to feel really calm. It's known to be an appetite stimulant, so this is great to use for fussy eaters or for those who do not have much of an appetite, in the elderly, for example, or after a long-term illness. It can be used to vaporize, put it in a sniff stick, worn directly on clothing. So you could you can't do this with all essential oils because some of them might stain clothing, but bergamot's fine, as are all the citrus oils, to just put a drop or two onto your collar, so you can inhale it all day long. And we use it in blends for massage for uplifting and antidepressant properties. You do need to be a little bit cautious with this oil. It's phototoxic. So this means that if you put it on prior to going out into the sun, your skin will burn much more quickly. In fact, there have been some awful reports and images of people with nasty burns after using this oil on the skin, in dilution of course, but nevertheless it just goes to show how powerful these oils are. So if you're worried about that, when you have a look on the essential oil company websites, you can buy something called FCF free, which is furanocoumarin, and that's the chemical inside the essential oil that causes the phototoxicity. So if you're worried, buy the FCF. So that's the furanocoumarin free variety. If you don't have the FCF free, do not use this essential oil applied in a blend on the skin prior to exposure to the sunlight for at least 12 hours because it causes these burns. So in terms of blending, due to its complex chemistry, it does blend well with pretty much every other essential oil out there, and certainly with all the ones listed here, and it would uplift any blend that you make. Sweet orange oil, Citrus sinensis. This oil has a wonderfully uplifting and cheering aroma, and pretty much everyone loves it, children in particular. It's also good for soothing nervous tension and anxiety. You can put it in blends for the skin. It's good for beating colds and flu, and generally relaxing oil. So it has mild anti-inflammatory properties and blends well with all the other oils listed. It's lovely with the chamomile, because chamomile is not always everyone's favourite aroma, but if you use it in conjunction with sweet orange oil, it's really nice and will have a great anti-inflammatory action, which is great for things like arthritis. Geranium is a beautiful plant and a lovely smell, although it's not everyone's cup of tea because it is very sweet and heady, strong heady scent. So it is a brilliant antidepressant oil, great for reducing stress and anxiety. Also lovely on the skin, combined with chamomile. It can soothe congested skin and be used for dermatitis, eczema, as well as acne. In fact, you could blend chamomile, geranium and sweet orange together for the skin. That would be lovely. It's also hailed as an oil to support hormone balancing, so it's recommended for menopausal problems and for PMT. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more, now that this has whet your appetite, there are lots of courses you can do. So if you want to do a full aromatherapy diploma, this will include 90 in-class hours. You can't do an online course in aromatherapy, that's not recognised by the profession. The core curriculum that's held by the Complementary and Natural Healthcare Council, which is our profession's voluntary self-regulatory body. If you want to find out more about that, watch the other presentation that we've done on introducing our profession on the Complementary Therapy Week page of this CHP's website. I just about got that out. So aromatherapy does include massage training, and whatever course you choose, ensure it follows the core curriculum of the CNHC, as we said. So you can have a look on the Complementary Health Professionals website. There are aromatherapy courses around the country that are accredited by them, and you know that they've been checked against the national standards, quality checked. There are other places that you can go. There are colleges that may offer a VTCT Level 3 diploma or an ITEC diploma in aromatherapy. Those are fine as long as you check that they are not a beauty therapy qualification, but a complementary therapy qualification that is benchmarked to the CNHC core curriculum. And there are other aromatherapy training courses that are listed on other associations' websites, such as the International Federation of Aromatherapy and International Federation of Professional Aromatherapy, that you can take a look at. You can also train as an essential oil practitioner. So this is for people who don't want to study massage, but want to do everything else an aromatherapist does. So we created this diploma. We were the first ones to do it. It's an online course because it's theory only. There's no practical element. Although we do offer practical blending workshops that you can come along to, as well as an aromatic tour. So this is delivered by ourselves, Natural Therapeutics, accredited by Complementary Health Professionals. And if you go onto the website, you can see more information about this diploma and download the full syllabus. We also have an introductory course to essential oils. That's just £25, and there's no coursework connected with that, but of course you are able to contact us and ask us any questions that you may have, and it gives you lots of top tips and lots of recipes and things to try out for yourself and for home use. Every year we operate this Kew tour. It's an aromatic tour of Kew Gardens. If you'd like to come along this year, 2022, it's on the 7th of June, and you can book that on the Natural Therapeutics website. That's naturaltherapeutics.co.uk, and it would be lovely to see you. We've been running this for about 10 years now. It's very, very popular, and it's a wonderful day out where you will wander around Kew Gardens, looking at all the aromatic plants, discussing the essential oils that come from those plants and their therapeutic properties, and we also discuss our favourite blends. So yeah, a wonderful day out. It's continuing professional development for aromatherapists and essential oil practitioners. Great for students as well to come along if they're doing some coursework, because they can take photos of plants. But it's just a wonderful day if you're interested in aromatics. Thank you.